Maybe the fix are the friends we made along the way. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it?
The Costa Concordia.
The
Ship of dreams.
Actually, do you think it's nice if we added a subtitle? Have you guys been a subtitle? Do you guys prefer subs more than like just watching the video? Or do you guys... Can you guys like actually watch a video without any subs? Or you know what? I actually... Personally for me, I prefer reading the subs. As well as like hearing it as well. No sub... Wait, really? Depends. It depends. If it's a language we probably can't really, you know, understand, I guess. Oh god! Oh my god! I just realized closed caption. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you know what? Let's just turn it off. You know, and then I'll leave it up to my own skills to understand what is happening clearly. Okay. Guys, work of art. Work of art. Endorsement or condoning?
The Costa Concordia.
The Costa
Ship of
Concordia.
dreams. It's been 8 years.
Long years.
I can still smell the buffets from
Guys,
their
I've always wanted to
five
be in a cruise ship.
The casino and 3-story theater had hardly been used. The
Damn,
gym,
they have a gym as well.
The day spa.
They have
the
a
sheets
spa
in
as
the
well.
1,500 luxurious cabins hadn't even been slept in. Costa Concordia cost $570 million to build.
Whoa.
And you could tell. You could really tell.
Wow. It looks so big. Honestly, I feel like I will not ever
like
in my whole
just
lifetime.
A few years ago.
Oops.
We had left Civitavecchia.
Wait, sorry. Wait, sorry.
I remember it like it was just a few years ago. We had left Civitavecchia, a port in Rome, and we were making our way to Savona. It was day 2 of our 7-day journey. But
7 days, Chris.
She was cursed.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Reaching
god.
premiered, the traditional bottle of champagne bounced right off the side instead of smashing. A bad omen.
But I'm not the superstitious.
If the bottle fails to break, wait. If the bottle fails to break, it's a bad omen? Okay, I don't really know anything about ships though, honestly, because I haven't even like wrote a... Act of christening involves breaking a bottle of champagne on the bow of the ship using a carefully rigged length of line so that when it's released by the godmother, it swings across and smashes against the ship. If the bottle fails to break, it's considered bad luck. Christening ships. Oh my god, they actually baptize ships as well. That's crazy. Enjoy the alien. Thank you so much.
But I'm not the superstitious type.
Nothing could go wrong on Friday the 13th of January 2012,
on the 100th
Friday
year
the
anniversary of the Titanic, on a ship that's also only safety rated for 2-compartment flooding, especially not when you have a 5-star max level captain like Francisco Scatino, a man who mysteriously rose from head of security to the position of captain within just a couple of years.
He knows exactly what to do in case of an emergency.
For example, when he caused this emergency in 2008, when he crashed into a port in Sicily. And in 2010, in Warnemünde, Germany, when he was steering a shipping ship and came into port too fast and caused another collision. I've got a good feeling.
No way! Why does he still have a license though?
It's a beautiful evening. People are having fun on the slides, drinks at the bar. Antonio Magnotta is playing piano at the restaurant. Martin the magician is setting up for his show.
Bro, there's also a magician.
And the ship is setting up for a little detour. It's called a sail-by salute. Basically, you get real close to the shore and honk the horn. The locals hate it, but the customers love it, and it's a tradition. Scatino, the captain, comes into the dining hall with a lady, Dominica Samorton. Remember
Not
this
his
face
wife.
because you'll be seeing a lot of it later. Scatino eats his dinner with her and socializes for a little while. Then he, Dominica, and the maitre d' finish up and excuse themselves. They're heading to the bridge. It's time for that sail-by salute. This time, they're going to get closer than ever. Just 1,500 feet from the island of Giglio. And how are they going to determine this distance? Well, of course, the captain is going to eyeball it. Apparently, it's not an uncommon thing to do. Scatino turns to the fella steering, his helmsman, Jacob Ruslibin. First interesting
I like
tidbit.
the introduction.
Costa Crochet has hired Jacob from Indonesia at a rock-bottom price, and he's a bit of a newbie to the job. In fact, his
Helmsman.
profession hitherto, a painter and a cleaner. It's his first
Wow.
time steering a massive ship.
What the
and
fuck?
he's very excited. At least, we think he is. It's hard to tell because he doesn't speak English or Italian very well at all.
What the
Off
fuck?
to a good start. The second in
What he
command raised the
did?
helmsman to 290. Now, don't be confused by these numbers, they're just the degrees on a compass. At the same time, the captain whips out his cell phone and calls former captain Mario Palombo, who lived
Wait, what is that? Mario Palombo is the reason for the sail by salute. He essentially came up with the idea he's not on Giglio at the time, he's in Grosseto.
on the island. They chat about the safe distance to Giglio's shores. It's all very
Giglio.
casual. Anyway, Mario says that the safe distance is between 0.3 and 0.4 miles from shore. The captain is going all in. This is not
see.
his first sail-by salute, so he's confident in what he's doing. We're going closer than we've ever been before. The captain's eyeballing it again. New heading of 300, he tells the helmsman. Downstairs, Mario is about to cut his assistant in half. And of course, that means that there's already a lady inside this box. She's waiting for the cue, and then she'll poke her legs out. The captain
There's
is
a
giving more
name!
orders.
Very important
Pulling gently
person?
to 310. Increase speed to 16 knots. Going this fast is going to be a fatal error. But before we talk about that, let's talk about another big problem. Language barrier.
Look
Because
at that.
at this point, the captain says
Isn't that from
325,
Sims?
but the helmsman relays 315.
Alloy.
So the first officer intervenes, and he goes,
What?
no, 335, which is also wrong. And then the captain clarifies, no, 325. The helmsman confirms 325. Their poor communication has them moving at a much wider angle
Uh-oh.
than they think they are.
Uh-oh.
Further, the captain should and would know this, except for the next problem. Complacency about procedure.
Oh
The standard
no.
procedure of a ship this large is for the third officer to give exact positional coordinates every time the captain gives a new directional order. But they're not doing that. 330, he says.
Complacency
The helmsman
again.
relays 330. The ship reaches 16 knots.
330.
The captain then turns to the second officer and instructs him to go to the left wing. That's
Uh-oh.
these things here, and they basically exist so you can get a better view over the whole vessel. A few seconds pass,
How good?
and then the mood starts to turn. Scatino notices white foam of waves breaking against the
Uh-oh.
rocks directly in front of him in the distance.
Right in
The
front.
Costa Concordia, right
Oh.
now, is almost 700 meters closer to the
Right
rocks
in front.
than it should be. Without deviation,
Uh-oh.
there is going to be a direct collision.
Rocks are actually underwater.
Scatino immediately commands the ship to start turning away. 335.
Why is he buckering like that?
The captain shouts,
Uh-oh.
340. The captain
340.
yells, 350.
350.
Now, remember how I said that accelerating to 16 knots was a fatal error? Well, that's because it's made this ship incapable of such a drastic
Oh, no.
turn.
What is a knot
they've
even,
got
though?
is understeer.
I
Here's
forgot.
an example.
The front end is not working. You're turning, and you're just going straight. You want to go over here, but you're going to end up over here.
So despite the order of 350,
Bro, what is
right
this
now
music?
the bow is still only pointing at 327. Not nearly enough to miss the rock.
Uh-oh.
And oh no, it's about to get worse. That language barrier again. In these
Uh-oh.
critical moments where every second counts, the helmsman wrongly relays
No.
340. The captain snaps back, 350 starboard or we end up on the rocks.
Uh-oh.
The third officer goes to assist the helmsman. Now, don't get confused by the orders from here. We're changing over to rudder instructions. The captain yells, starboard 10, starboard 20, and still it's
Right
not
20.
enough. Hard to starboard. That means as hard as it'll
Starboard.
go. But at this
Larboard.
point, even if
Larboard.
they clear these rocks, they need
Uh-oh.
to get the rest of the ship to swing around it. So the captain yells, midship, which centers the
Midship.
rudder. The bow
Oh.
is now less than 150 meters from stern
Uh-oh.
dock. Port 10. But the helmsman
Wait,
only
when
gets
was
to
this
port
again?
5 before
What?
another order is given 2 seconds later. Port 20. They might just avoid disaster here. Maybe.
Oh no! Why
But
was
then-
there a language barrier to
One more
begin
time, the
with?
helmsman cocks up at the
Cocks
worst
up.
possible moment. The helmsman
To be fair, though,
goes
it's
to
numbers, though.
starboard instead of port,
No.
undoing the swing. 8 seconds later, he realizes the error and corrects, but it's too late. He has just turned a probable near miss into a sure
Near
hit.
miss.
All they can do now is
Oh.
hold on as the bow of the ship narrowly passes by the rocks.
Oh, you see
Hard
that?
to port. The second officer yells, "We're gonna hit!" Collision.
Look at his face! No! Titanic moment! Like the olive oil there! Bruh. No! With this music as well. With the Sims background. 1 nautical mile per hour. What is a nautical? Oh, nautical is the ed time.
Downtown.
Ed time!
Nordtown.
Ed.
It's day
Nordtown.
56 of playing Russian roulette. Seems I never win.
Gonna
For-
drink all by yourself?
For some reasons, the ads also have like
Somebody has
stories
to.
as well.
I hear you're a
The
man who's
greatest
good at
storyteller.
finding folks.
I'm many things.
I'm looking for this fella. I got to find him. It's breaking my little
I got
heart.
to
I'll
find
see what I can
him.
do. I have contacts in thousands of servers in dozens of countries across the globe.
It gets
And just like
worse. Worse
she's
than
gone. The
Titanic?
only
No
thing she
way.
left was a calling card.
Oh, oh.
Sometimes when you follow a case,
You sponsor black.
it follows you back.
Isn't it part of the
video?
video? Isn't it if it's part of the
But who can
video,
protect me
you don't technically like
from
skip
myself. When they said this job gets easier, it was just another lie. Forensics found his password.
He
spread all
deserved
the way
this
down the
sponsorship
block.
though.
In a perfect
Let's be
world,
real.
we'd all use NordVPN. But I guess this
I
isn't
use
that
exit
kind of
lag, though.
story. I took the brakes off my
Unfortunate.
car. Man like me never really learned how to stop.
You know, I've always wanted
I
to
took the
like
steering wheel out
watch.
too. I let
noir
the road
films.
take me where I'm supposed to be.
Actually, Alyaka.
That's right, Toots. Your husband's dead.
No.
Merry Christmas. Go to nordvpn.com/internet story for a huge discount on a 2-year plan. Ad?
Ed.
The ship hits rocks on the port side.
No.
A
Titanic,
53-meter gash opens up in the hull, and thousands of tons of water begin pouring in. A loud scraping and bang
Oh,
is
shit.
heard by all passengers.
With the
At the
with the
helm
axis.
is panic.
No, it isn't an
Rumblings in
axe.
the dining room. Martin awkwardly pauses his act as he's helping his assistant into the box. Meanwhile, the lady inside
Let me
is
out, let
trapped
me
and
out.
terrified. There's confusion
no.
across the ship. All of the crew off shift come back on duty. All
no.
officers run to the bridge. Technical crews run down to the lower decks to assess damage. On connection with the rocks, they
Ooh.
lose propulsion and slow to 8.3 knots. And they are now adrift. Close the watertight doors at stern.
Oh
Enormous
no.
volumes of water are pouring in. So much so that
Borrow
within
trauma,
29 seconds of collision, all 6 engines stop working through flood.
Oh no.
22 seconds later, a blackout happens.
Ah.
Lights, electrics, the water pumps too, everything. The captain orders the
It's
helmsman
the
hard
language
starboard.
barrier,
This
bruh.
is the final position of the rudder before power to that too is lost. The Costa Concordia, now without power, is drifting starboard, plunged into absolute
Darkness. But at least they're near
A
shore,
quick breakdown of
right?
the flooding. When the Concordia struck land, it tore open 3 watertight compartments. At first, compartment 5, which filled very rapidly. Then 6 more slowly, 4 shortly after.
I
Then
noticed
7
from
after
Barra
3.
Trauma, guys.
Modern ships are built to withstand
Real.
2 compartment
really.
breaches. These compartments, especially though, are a problem because they contain the engines and the electrics.
Ah.
These main generators give power to the whole ship. From propulsion motors to
These
rudder to
moments.
hotel functions, pretty much everything. When they went out, the ship was a functionless, sinking cage.
GG's.
A few seconds later, the emergency
GG's, bro.
batteries for internal lighting and communications kick on. When the lights come back on, Martin has vanished. He's ditched the stage. And it caused a huge panic in the theatre, as passengers are trying to flee to their cabins and to muster stations. People already in their cabins come out and start putting on life vests. Staff rally and try to calm everyone down.
Is this a real video?
Fine. There's no need for vests. Please return to your cabins. The emergency generator starts. All of the watertight doors close except for door 12,
Oh
which is
no.
jammed. The captain calls Pilon, the chief engineer, as the
Pilon.
ship begins to list on the port side. There's water
Oh,
coming
no.
in? Yes, there's water. But where? The engine room. But a lot of water? Yes! There's water, you can't go down. Let's go down the other side.
Are there water down there?
When we'll start the pumps, I'll let you know. In the theatre, the whole magic box apparatus slides right off the
Oh,
stage
shit.
and falls into the crowd, further increasing panic. On
But-
the bridge, an announcement is being prepared. They are going to lie to prevent a panic.
God
Let's just
damn.
say we have a blackout.
No
The deputy
way.
chief engineer enters the engine control room.
Oh my
He
god, there's so
confirms
many
to the bridge
names
that at least
introduced.
compartments 5, 6, and 7 are flooded. Announcements are made.
The captain to inform you that due to an electrical fault, which is currently under control,
They lied
we're currently in a
too.
blackout.
What the
Our technicians
heck?
are working to resolve the situation, and we'll inform you of developments as they occur. Thank you for your attention.
Nah, but like the
Coincidentally,
sudden
at the same time in
bang
the restaurant, they're
feels
playing
like
My
already
Heart
like a
Will Go
crash or
On,
what.
and it's very much not helping the situation. The captain calls the Costa Crisis Unit, Roberto Ferrarini. He tells the crisis unit that they've hit a rock, that they're assessing damages, and that they are also in a blackout. The crisis office says to reverse the ship up onto shore. Well, how are you going to do that?
How you gonna
You
do
don't
that?
have the rudder, let alone the engine. You know, hoist the sails? Anyway, around this time, the wind direction
Manual
speeds are
moment.
west, and the ship
No.
begins to turn anyway, drifting right back towards the shore, which is a
Uh-oh.
very good thing because
It's
you want the ship
reversing.
to end up as close to shore as possible. A panicked passenger senses that something is off. This isn't like any electrical problem that she's ever seen. Plus, there was
Real.
a massive crashing noise and now the ship
Real.
is tilting. So, she contacts her daughter in Italy. The daughter then calls the police. And the police call the harbour
Oh
master.
no! GG!
While that goes on, a conversation between Pilon and Ambrosio. The diesel is not starting. The captain asks the engine room, but where have we made contact? Thinking that the incoming water can be reduced. Captain, here everything is lost. The electrical panel, everything.
We're gonna die.
They're saying at this point that the
GG's.
ship is going down. The captain calls Roberto Ferrarini again. Actually, 2 compartments have been flooded, but don't worry, the ship's stability isn't in danger. Right. Passengers begin going to muster stations on their own initiative. The cruise director says, "We have a lot of people at muster stations that I do not want to fall overboard. Do we make an announcement to tell them to go to the lounges?" Bozio says, "I think that's best." The harbour master from Livorno calls the ship. The captain tells them that we just have a blackout. How long has this blackout been going on? About 20 minutes. Have you asked passengers to put on life vests? It's just a blackout. I gotta go. The harbour master is suspicious.
Bro, why
He
he
sees to it appears
lying
that
like
he thinks
that?
something
If
more is
everybody's
going
in
on. He calls the
danger.
patrol boat to the area and asks them to look at the ship. Another problem. The fan on the emergency diesel generator isn't
Can this be
working
even
properly.
solved at this
Pilon
point?
manually has to turn the thing on and off with a screwdriver so that it doesn't overheat and cause a fire.
Bub.
The captain is on the phone to the lower decks, asking pointless questions, like, is it still flooded? Yes. Yes, it is. The captain is essentially in
Is it
denial
still
of the
flooded?
situation. The
Why are
harbour
you
master
in
calls again.
denial, bub?
Finally, he says, the ship is taking on
The
water
ship
through an
is
opening in
going
the left side,
down.
and the ship is listing. He
Uh-oh.
qualifies with, no one dead or injured. The harbour master asks if he needs help. Just a tugboat? When in reality, they need a full rescue. With 3 compartments flooded, the captain finally realizes that things are really bad, and they
What
are
the
not
fuck is
going
that?
to improve. The Coast Guard orders every available ship to the sea. Meanwhile, up with the passengers, the cruise director's assistant says, everything's under control.
What the
Just return to
hell?
the cabins or hang about in the lounges, no problem. She said this despite
What the
knowing it was
fuck?
wrong and that it further endangered lives. Most
Yeah.
passengers at this point, though, aren't listening to this nonsense.
They're gonna
and
be
busy
locked
figuring
out
out
if,
how
like-
to abandon ship. Bang, 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 bang. Local television has already picked up the story, and they begin broadcasting live radio feed
Oh,
from
shit.
the bridge.
They're GG's, bro.
Captain, the passengers are going on board the boats. Okay, let them go to shore. So then general emergency? Wait, let me talk to Ferrarini. We risk the emergency generators that do not have cooling. It has cooling problems, 100 degrees.
Start a fire.
The cooling fan has stopped. Elon calls the bridge and tells the safety officer they need to evacuate. The safety officer relays this to the captain, but after no response, he orders the engine room to evacuate on his own. The captain says, "No, stay. We're leaving." So what do we do?
leaving.
General emergency?
Oh no.
The captain tells Ferrarini that he's abandoning ship. Abandoned ship. Another announcement is made.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The situation is under control. But at this time, proceed to your muster station. They're located
Oh no, there's a baby.
The Livorno Coast Guard calls again. The captain declares distress. The Coast Guard officially calls for rescue operations. They contact Pietro Mille, the helicopter base commander, who then calls in every available pilot. As he rushes down to the helicopter base, Pilon shuts down the
Base
emergency
combat,
generator for the final time. The first rescue vessel arrives. By this point, the lifeboats are already going. Luckily, the ship is very close to shore.
Yeah, that's good.
Perhaps too close to shore. The ship forcefully runs aground, creating an uneven center of gravity. And it begins heavily listing starboard. The captain issues a general emergency on board. The announcement to abandon ship is finally called and alarms ring out. And with that comes panic. And now that they're listing, with many of the lifeboats too awkwardly positioned to enter the water, there aren't enough readily available, and they have to start going back and forth to the shore, picking people up and dropping them off. The patrol boats report to the Livorno harbour master that the ship has run aground and is listing heavily. So the harbour master asks the captain about it, and the captain says, no, the ship is still floating. In fact, we're trying to maneuver it onto the shore. They know he's lying. Hold on, I'm reversing it. Beep, 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 beep. The captain then says to bottom out the starboard anchor. So they drop out the anchors, but let out too much chain, effectively rendering them useless. The deputy mayor of Giglio, Mario Pellegrini, and tobacco shop owner Giovanni Rossi arrive at the harbour. They watch the scene unfold. As the first of the lifeboats arrive on shore, the deputy mayor takes the initiative and races to board one of the lifeboats, returning to the ship, and starts trying to find someone in charge. He gives up and starts helping passengers. Scatino tells everyone to leave and take radios, but not before changing out of his uniform and into a nice suit. Priorities. Dimitri Christidis and Sylvia Veronica leave with him. The maitre d' and Samor can both get out of there. By this point, approximately 300 people are still on the ship. Mille reaches the helicopter base. The first helicopter, a slow-moving Augusta Bell, was already rising from the tarmac for the hour-long flight south. Bozio is the last crew member left on the bridge, coordinating evacuation. He then leaves to help passengers board lifeboats.
Nice.
The bridge is now abandoned. And then, the ship's black box stops working. Apparently there were technical problems with it. That means, from here, things are going to get a little foggy in detail. A while later, rescue helicopters arrive, but they're struggling to find the ship because they're expecting it to still be well above water. Passengers are scaling down the port side by ladder as lifeboats return to pick them up.
It's sinking really slowly.
Oh my goodness. It was no joke.
God damn. Should be paid by insurance there. What the heck? Oh!
You're not allowed to make a film movie.
I'm allowed.
Who say you are?
A second helicopter, a faster model, sets off. The ship stops healing and comes to a final resting place. Now the Coast Guard calls the captain because he's just learnt that the captain has abandoned ship. The captain claims, no, actually I slipped and I fell into one of the lifeboats. I'm close. But now that I'm on board, I may as well head back to shore. DeFalco tells the captain to get the fuck back on board. And the captain kind of acts confused and then effectively refuses. So the captain makes it to shore. From here, we only have mainstream news reports to rely on, so it's not going to be super accurate. But they say that Giglio's police chief then finds 110 survivors on the rocks at Point Gabbianara. And among them is the captain. It's not known whether the captain helped anyone while he was there, and in fact, the police chief claims that he
so
just sat on the
selfish,
rocks
bruh.
and watched other
He
people
sat
do the
on
rescue.
the rocks. No
A
shot.
while later, a rescue boat picks up the captain and takes him to the harbour. He speaks to the police. He then finds the ship's onboard chaplain, Father Rafael Molina, and cried to him for about 15 minutes. Then he goes to the harbour master's office to receive probably the biggest dressing down of his entire life.
You
Port
are
authorities
fat.
ask the taxi driver to take the captain
You
back
are
to his
fat.
hotel. The captain takes the 30-second cab ride to the Bahamas hotel. According to the cabbie, he was beaten like a dog. He was cold and afraid. He only
What
asked me
the-
where he could buy a pair of fresh socks. But then he perked right up again and gave an interview to a news crew. He told them that he was the last to leave.
The captain
All
is usually the last
lies.
to abandon ship. What happened, Captain? We were the last to leave the ship.
All they
No
said,
way.
they rescue a search for people. Shit.
Wait, it's still
Sunday
ongoing.
morning, a South Korean couple is
Oh,
found in
no.
their cabin, safe but shivering. They had slept through the crash and woke
No.
up unable to exit their cabin. The last survivor, Manrico Giampandroni, was found with a broken leg. He was the cabin's service director. In the end, 32 people died. The final body wasn't discovered until nearly 3 years later. A crew member,
3 years?
Russell Rebello, and it's believed that he died a hero helping passengers off the ship.
Aw.
The Costa Concordia was the largest cruise ship disaster since the Titanic. And then there's the ship. This is what
Bub.
happens to a
Oh shit, it's abandoned as
110,000-ton cruise liner when it's left half rolled over in the ocean.
Whoa. Whoa. They look really, really fascinating to look at, though. Like abandoned places and whatnot. Yeah, it looks cool to explore. But like people died there. So I guess it's haunted. You know, a
But
good
this
thing
isn't
is
the
not
end.
near.
It's
It's
just the
near the
halfway
shore.
point. What most people know
Halfway?
is that the Costa Concordia had crashed, many dead, and that the captain
Many
abandoned ship
dead.
like a coward. But there's a whole veritable spaghetti of details to untangle.
Whoa.
Let's dive in.
What the fuck is
There they are. The deets.
God? Looting. Looting. They were looting.
Loot box time. The Costa Concordia was more than just a floating resort. There's a mall. A casino. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
mall?
This iron chest was full of safes and cash registers and expensive fittings. And there were plenty of gamers prepared to sneak by authorities and try their luck in the hot zone. Within days, police divers reported that valuable items, once seen lying around the ship, were now missing. High-end liquor, expensive furniture, dining sets.
They were
caps
so
in the
fast,
casino,
Mike.
Cash registers, jewelry and display cabinets.
Oh my
safes,
God.
Japanese woodblock prints by famous 18th century artists.
Oh, 6,000
As
works
well as
of
the
art?
iconic bell, which hung from the bridge of the ship. It was never found. Who steals a big fuck-off bell? Even the server admins were getting involved. 4 divers who were part of the company contracted to refloat the Concordia were spotted on CCTV, sneaking out to the ship. A patrol boat was dispatched, and the men were caught inside the fancy suites with rucksacks full of stolen goods.
Caught
The
it
4
right
men
on.
are charged with
Well,
stealing and thieving.
Better luck
Pension.
next time.
Later on, stolen as well as legitimate
Oh,
items
shit,
found
they
their
got
way
stolen.
to Amazon and eBay. Chips from the casino, postcards, and cabin access cards became highly sought after souvenirs.
Damn.
It even has a watermark.
Some Australian guy even made a listing for the ship itself, advertising it as a buyer to collect. And although there were plenty of bidders, eBay pulled the plug.
Fuck? Who in the right? He has the right question mark. The relationship.
I know
Tarkov.
you want to see
Oh, it's
Scatino go to jail,
Tarkov.
and we'll get to that. But
Jailed.
first, we have to talk about
GG's.
someone else.
Zizi
Dominica
Rebozo.
Samorton.
That was a close one.
There was speculation that she was on the bridge that evening because she was the captain's mistress.
Yeah, it was obvious from the start, though.
Intense media speculation reports that her presence distracted the captain.
They both denied their love for years and maintained that they were just friends. Although
Distracted.
she did later admit to the media that she found him handsome. And how could you not?
You so fucking precious when you smile.
We didn't need to see that!
No romantic
Bub.
link between them.
Some people would like to believe, they want to know I have something with him. It's more interesting.
She
It's
looks
like,
kind of pretty, though.
spicy in the story.
Miss Morton also loved the spotlight, however,
Hey.
and took several interviews. But as the pressure mounted upon her, she began making ominous threats to Scatino,
For the plot.
saying he must
That Francesco Scatino, I give you just 1 week to tell the truth about what happened immediately after you did the announcement to abandon. 1 week.
confess,
52 likes on
and that you
Facebook.
have but 1 week to come
Face!
clean.
Bub.
But things from here get weird.
Spicy.
Sir Morton is a bit of a wild card.
Wow.
In a subsequent interview, she claimed a helicopter came to the ship well before the other rescue craft to take away a package.
What?
Huh? And what was that package? Drugs, apparently.
Whoa.
So rumors began that the ship was running narcotics
Whoa.
for the mafia. And not without cause. A number of cruise ships, even recently, have been caught trafficking drugs. As an aside,
Whoa.
Scatino was tested for drugs immediately after the crash. He tested negative for drugs in his system, but trace amounts of cocaine were found in his
Whoa.
Makes it smoother and less dry.
Nonetheless,
Maybe it's
the
just
Concordia
dandruff,
was
I
searched
don't
and
know.
No drugs were reportedly ever found. How did we get here? Oh, right,
Some
a
coke.
helicopter. Sir Morton commented on it again the next day and said, actually, that helicopter was just for the captain as a means of evacuation from the ship. Okay, wait. So she expected to get some sort of first-class rescue while everyone else was still stuck on the ship? Wait, how did we
Bub.
get here? Oh, right, sex with the captain. Divers were
Spicy.
quick to head to the captain's cabin where they found Miss Sir Morton's lingerie and other articles of clothing as well as a makeup bag. The jig was up, but they continued denying it. Sir
Nah.
Morton mostly faded from international attention until she was told to appear before the court to present witness testimony. The judge pressed her to be truthful about their relationship, or she would be held in contempt.
Either tell me the truth or shut up.
So finally, she admitted it.
Yes, I had a sentimental relationship
Sentimental?
with the captain.
Stop.
But now, stop asking about my private life.
Stop.
She was indeed the captain's lover.
It's obvious, bro.
Stop, Trouble Alert Nation!
Trouble Alert
Cheated on his wife with Seymour Tan. Oh my god!
She and Scatino had been having an affair for several weeks. She also said that on the night she boarded, she didn't have a ticket.
Ticket, please.
And
Bruh.
didn't need to pay because nobody questions you when you're the captain's lover.
Bruh.
Naturally, she gave another confusing
Ooh.
interview after leaving court.
I want to say that today is the second time I die because the first time I died in the night of the crash with my psychological brain and problems. And today I died the second time because, of course, people find out something that I try to hide.
Subsequent to the trial, she used her fame in Moldova to become a political activist, often appearing on television and radio and in articles covering protests, accompanied by pictures of her being arrested by police.
She became a political actor. What the fuck is this timeline? The crowd standing around her telling police she's allowed to protest here and generally white knighting. Of course. That's a pretty woman right there.
It was some stuff about victims of violence, women's rights,
Girl power.
yada yada yada.
Girl
And
power.
interestingly, part of a push to block the sale of shares of Moldova's train network to
What?
Russia.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't really know what she's been up to. Let me just check on her Insta.
She's now an
Oh
influencer.
God, not again.
Another ship.
Several civil suits were quickly lodged against Costa Crociere, and their parent company, Carnival Cruises, immediately saw a share drop of 23%.
Don't beat.
Passengers
Don't
sought
eat.
compensation for their damaged
Don't
mental
eat.
health, lost belongings, and loved ones.
Either they allowed him to divert from his course, or they didn't know where their billion-dollar ship was.
Within a few days, facing financial and media pressure, the CEO attempted to join the bandwagon against the captain and the crew.
That was not the ordinary route that the ship was taking at the time. And was not only taking, but the time the ship was...
Claiming that the ship was not approved to deviate from the route. But that wasn't true. Approval isn't required if the ship is deviating by less than 15 miles, or that it was against company rules. Also untrue, because investigators found that they didn't have any rules about deviating route, and they tacitly encouraged sail-by salutes. Now,
making
in
them
response
really
to the civil
clean
suits,
or
Costa
whatever.
Crociere offered passengers 11,000 euros each as compensation.
That's kind of small.
That's kind of small.
Euros, about $14,000, is the minimum compensation under international law when a ship is abandoned.
This was to reimburse them for their tickets, as well as any costs they accrued in having to unexpectedly travel home.
I wonder how much was the cruise ship.
And that was supposed to release them from everything and anything that has to do with this accident. I cannot ask for more than this.
A lot of passengers, understandably, were not too happy with this deal, and they refused to take the money.
We think the offer is an insult. For what these poor passengers went through, we think that the compensation being offered is not commensurate.
True.
Take it. Compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Later, Costa Crociere would lodge a plea deal with the Tuscany court to pay a €1 million fine to avoid a criminal trial. The judge agrees. Costa Crociere is now off the hook for all criminal liability for the whole thing. They washed their hands of the incident and flecked the residual droplets of responsibility onto the faces of 6 staff members. Passengers and relatives of the dead are livid that the company has been able to avoid criminal responsibility.
Offer is not commensurate.
Civil suits against the company continue. By the way, the residents of the island of Giglio also banded together.
Their port was blocked to fishing boats while the recovery, importing goods, tourists, but they were all there to see Concordia. In the end, they didn't get much in terms of compensation.
They didn't get much.
Michael!
Eventually, passengers who refused the initial compensation of 11,000 joined civil parties against Scatino in his trial in 2015.
It's not commensurate.
They were awarded 30,000 euros each. Other cases, especially those involving lost relatives, are settled for undisclosed amounts.
Damn. I like that in intervals of like just them exploding or whatever.
To represent 6 real survivors of the disaster.
At Ronet & Ronet, we personally work on every case.
And we'll work harder than anyone to get you the most money possible in the shortest amount of time.
And while on the job, a
FF!
cropped up via email.
FF14?
An elderly woman, Alona, said,
"Help me, Mr. Ronai, for I have lost my daughter, Eva, and my 5-year-old granddaughter, Roxana."
So Mr. Renai agreed to speak with her. However, there were some inconsistencies in her story. Neither Eva nor Roxana were on the passenger list.
Oh.
Odd. But Costa is known for having stowaways.
Gotcha, bitch!
Still, Mr. Renai was suspicious. They wouldn't cheaty old Petey, would they? Renai inquired further about why she was on board, especially without a ticket. Ilona said,
"Well, I don't know, but you should ask her boyfriend.
Zolt Horvath.
He'll know all the details."
"I'm up all night. I'm going crazy," he said. But Mr. Renai was still suspicious. Because then she asked, "How much money do you think this is worth?" This is a huge red flag, Petey. In 20 years of doing this, you've never had anyone ask about money. Why now? So Mr. Renai hired an investigator and sent photos around of the missing girl. The next day, the phone rang. Oh, hoi hoi. It was the boyfriend again. Look, there's been a bit of a misunderstanding and the child isn't missing at all. And then he claimed he was confused because he had done too many drugs the night before. Okay, can I speak to the daughter then? At first, he was refused. So Renai said that he'd have to file a missing persons report to the police if he couldn't. The boyfriend relented. That night, Renai met with Zolt and brought the police with him. He speaks to the granddaughter and asks her if she's seen Mum. "Yeah, I saw her today." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, we went to the park today and we went on the swings." Oh no, the jig was up. So the mum walks into the room sheepishly. It's a miracle. And the story changed again. Okay, I'm not dead, but I did injure my leg when I jumped from the ship. And then I immediately flew back to Budapest. Although don't worry about checking my leg because there are no visible marks or injuries. Old Petey, I'm beginning to think they weren't even on the boat. Also, it turns out this lady isn't her mum, it's just a neighbor. Eventually, Renee managed to make the pair confess. And then they said, hey, we haven't done anything wrong. We haven't taken any money. And in the end, it looks like there'll be no criminal punishment for the scam. Because Hungary, a former communist country, has no laws against insurance fraud on the books.
The locker room that never sleeps, call 1-800-6647.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Boom.
That's a very bad idea.
I already knew it. Vada a bordo. Abort the Vada.
Would you teach me some Italian?
Oh, of course.
Oh.
Means get back on board for fuck's sake.
Vada bordo.
Thanks.
Gregorio De Falco, the naval officer who shouted at Scatino to Vada a bordo caso, overnight in Italy. He, like the rest of the world, expected Scatino to go down with the ship.
Bruh. No way.
And when the captain
no shot.
De Falco was there to admonish him. And when he stopped answering the radio, he called him on his cell phone to continue putting him on blast. When the captain first reported just a blackout, De Falco didn't believe the story and immediately began preparing a rescue effort, which likely saved several lives.
Oh, that's
His actions
nice.
were applauded by most Italians who were tired of their public servants being corrupt and avoiding responsibility.
Bah.
Shirts sporting Vada a bordo caso were being printed
Vada a bordo caso.
Others setting it as their phone's ringtone.
I played Mafia.
But then,
old country.
In September 2014, without warning, De Falco was transferred to an admin role in the Coast Guard.
Hear what I said? He'd been demoted.
De Falco said that he had been passed up for promotion, that he had also not been told which admin office he was even being transferred to, and that it all effectively cancelled 10 years of his career. De Falco was tres furioso, and there was public speculation that it was owing to bad blood between himself and Admiral Delano, his former boss. His status among the public overshadowed his superior in many ways. On the other hand, his boss said, no, it's part of a normal career progression for naval officers and that he must show more maturity and professionalism to advance his career. Now, it's hard to know what's true in office politics, so let's leave that alone.
Yeah, we don't dabble with that.
In 2018, De Falco said buenos noches, later to the Italian Navy to become a politician.
What the fuck?
In March that year, he was elected to the Italian Senate, serving as a member for Livorno. He still serves there today.
What the? What in the government officer route? What in the government officer route? Jail time.
The day after the disaster, Scatino was taken into custody by police and underwent questioning. However, it was clear that this would not be a straightforward investigation. So the judge released him under house arrest at his home in
He got cucked by internal politics. But still, why would he go into government for that? I mean, like, yeah, it might be
by
good,
July
but
of that year, the house arrest was relaxed and he was allowed within this general
area. Wait, what part is he again in the government?
While under house arrest, he wrote a book with this journalist from Rai magazine.
Debatable.
I have no idea what it says. I don't speak Italian. But goddammit, he must have some kind of charisma going on, because there's been a lot of speculation in the press that he had an affair with her as well. Hold on, I got it. Not content with abandoning
I think he has a pretty privileged type shit, except for that, probably. I don't know.
So, Scatino and 5 others are facing criminal charges. Straight away, everyone lodges a plea bargain with the court, and all of those plea bargains are accepted, except for Scatino's. And the condition of everyone's reduced sentences are that they must provide witness testimony against Scatino.
He touched me.
Ciro, Jacob, and Silvia were all given suspended sentences. Roberto and Manrico are able to opt for community service or house arrest. Not a bad deal.
Whoa.
Good deal. Good deal.
And that meant that Scatino was now all on his own. Ciro, the first officer, was the first to give his testimony. On the witness stand, he claimed that Schettino was distracted by his mistress and other guests on the bridge.
No shot.
That there was confusion over who was in command. Then it was Jacob's turn.
Bruh.
And he said, Lamau XD, because he didn't actually bother with his testimony or his reduced sentence. He just fled the country. It took authorities 12 months to eventually track him down on the outskirts of Jakarta. And when they said, oi, we still want that witness testimony,
He's Indonesian?
he just scuffed
What?
again. And he hasn't been found
Wait,
since.
in Jakarta?
After that,
Bruh.
Ferrarini gave his testimony, then look, we don't have time to relitigate the whole trial, so let's just go straight to the verdict. Guilty! Schettino was found guilty of multiple manslaughter, causing a shipwreck, abandoning ship, and lying to
Yeah,
authority.
that's manslaughter.
He was
Yeah.
sentenced to 16 years and 1 month in prison.
Only? That's
But wait,
manslaughter.
there's still the appeals. The appeals trial begins.
What the
And
fuck?
the verdict on the appeal... Surprise! Rejected! So Schettino's lawyers appealed again. And the verdict on the final appeal...
Schettino made multiple attempts to secure a plea deal, but was denied by the prosecution each time. The prosecution called for Schettino to be sentenced
I mean,
to
we
26 years in prison,
did have
calling the incident
evidences,
a
though.
Titanic affair.
Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Schettino was not present. His lawyers stated that he was waiting outside of the jail for the ruling, so that if his plea was rejected, he could immediately start serving his sentence. And with that, 5 years and 4 months after the disaster, he was finally in a cell.
What the fuck? GG's, bro. Rip Bozo. Bow. What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
The salvage operation was enormous. It took over 2 years and cost an estimated $1.2 billion. Beginning in early 2012, they first spent 2 months pumping fuel from the ship's tanks. At the same time, they had to pump seawater in so that the ballast wasn't affected and the ship didn't slide around. In early 2013, a platform was built under the ship to prevent it from falling further.
That's how you
Sponsons were
clean
then
up a
attached to
ship.
the sides of the ship and cables attached to the underwater platform. The sponsons were then dragged underwater and opened up to allow the ocean to fill in. The ship could then roll over properly. By late 2013, the ship was upright once more. The sponsons were then attached to the side of the ship to help keep it balanced. It now rested partially above water and crews could walk around safely. By July 2014,
Now
the
it's a
water was
museum.
removed from the sponsons and compressed air was pumped in to lift the ship.
Ah.
And she was ready to cruise again. This time
What do you
to
mean
a
ready to
port in Genoa.
Oh.
It was a 4-day towing journey
Oh.
to the docks where a 2-year process of dismantling and recycling would begin.
Damn.
That same weekend of the towing, Schettino was busy. He was the guest of honor at a white party on
What?
an island in the Bay of Naples. He appeared on the front page of a local newspaper, flanked by 2 of Italy's most eligible bachelorettes.
What the fuck is this? Brother! What the fuck is up with him?
Anyway, so these are the things that I remember from
Bro,
the
he's
Costa
like...
Concordia. That's sweet.
Why he like that? Bro, what the
Maiden
fuck?
of the sea.
No shot.
And as for you, little fella,
He's prideful like that and shit, you know? He even like tried appealing. No fucking shit, man.
it's time to return you.
Yeah. Here. No. Wow, wow. GG's, Rip Bozo.
6 quick things. 1. NordVPN, good product, check them out. Number 2, there's a new video on the second channel. You probably didn't see it because it was temporarily restricted.
He has
Now
a
it's not.
second
Enjoy it.
channel
3, if you've never seen the second
for
channel
what? Well,
before,
to be
give it a
fair,
go.
that's
It's a different type of content, but we put a lot of production
different
into
type
it.
of
It's not just
content.
offcuts.
What
4,
different-
there are a
what-
couple
what are the
secret
different
channels as well, but I ain't
stories
telling
on
you
the
where they
other?
are. 5, no more 45-minute videos on the main channel. Back to 10 to 15 minutes and more of them. 6, there's a Q&A coming out next week on incognito mode. It's got a ton of detail that we had to cut for the sake of brevity and will no doubt feature a ton of corrections as well. That's it. Thank you.
Spicy. Spicy. Amazing storytelling again. I don't know why, but like I haven't technically heard that. What year was it again? Oh shit. Oh shit, he reacted to that. Bro, I swear to God. Bro, I swear to God, that was Final Fantasy 14. I'm telling you.
Everyone, oh no!
Final Fantasy 14 mentioned.
But as the pressure mounted
Let's
upon
fucking
her,
go.
she began making ominous
I don't know where was
threats
it
to
though.
Scatino.
What are we
You must
watching?
confess.
We were watching
And that
Cost
you
of
have but
Concordia.
1 week-
That fucking piece of fucking shit. The sicking. I feel so bad about the other people. What the fuck is he on about though? Jesus Christ. I say that. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh bruh. I didn't see all these messages. Akamito! Hello! Hello guys! Welcome to sorry. My MB. Into the video to read chat. Bro, sometimes you just have to like lock in to like understand shit, honestly. Also look at the video. Albert, Orion. Hi. What the fuck? That was so annoying. What the hell? Although, do you think 16 years of sentence is actually like okay for that? What the fuck? He destroyed. That was like multiple amount of money. People were murdered. Not really murdered, my bad. People died. He lied to like authorities. What the fuck? He had his fit all when he abandoned. Yeah. You know what? He may be onto fashion. Yeah. And he cheated on his wife too. What the fuck? Yeah, and he had a house arrest for like 5 years. How rich is this dude to like escape whatever this shit is? I don't know. Yeah, I'm I'm 100% sure that was 14. He did play 14, right? I'm pretty sure. I am 100% confident. Unethical killing of others is a murder, so technically he did murder. Right! And then he like delayed announcing the emergency as well. That's crazy. What the fuck? Like, is his pride so high that he can't see that, you know, the best way to handle it is to like let everybody evacuate already and like let them like do, you know, just like fix it while no one's like right there. There were like a lot of people. It was a big cruise ship, right? A cruise ship is always pretty big with like a lot of people. Now all the money is gone. I don't know about the drugs though, honestly. And then the woman I don't know what happened to her. What the fuck? That's crazy. I don't know what happened to her, bruh. Yeah, they shouldn't let that, especially if it's like life or death. That's crazy. That is one crazy motherfucking work. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Jesus Christ.